When it comes to living in Utah, in my opinion, there's really 5 different distinct styles of lifestyle that you can get here in Utah. In this video, we're going to break down the 5 different styles that you need to know about, because when you make that move here, you're probably going to be thinking, okay, what is really important to me? What type of home do I want? What area do I want to live in? And what is most important to me on a day-to-day basis? So we're going to go ahead and jump into that here. Before we do so, my name is Cody. I want to be your trusted real estate resource when it comes to buying or selling real estate here in Utah. If you are thinking about moving here and purchasing a home, or maybe if you already live here and you want to buy, sell, invest in real estate, or maybe even build a new home, make sure to reach out to me. My information is here on the screen. You can call, text, or email anytime. I've had literally hundreds of people reach out from videos just like this, and I cannot wait to hear from you as well. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make myself a little bit smaller here, and we're going to talk about our very first style of living here in Utah. So in northern Utah, the first thing I want to talk about is a view lifestyle, right? And that's basically having a view. Now, it's funny because for me, having grown up here, having a view of the mountains pretty much everywhere you go has just become commonplace for me. That's something that I've kind of, admittedly taken for granted just because I've never known anything else, having lived here my whole life. And so when people move here, they're thinking, hey, I want a view. And what they really mean is a view of the mountains, whereas for me, I generally just naturally think of a view as a city view. So there's a couple different ways to get each of those two things. Now, the cool thing about this is you have mountains all the way around you. If you're anywhere here in Salt Lake County, you're going to have mountains all the way around. Even if you're down here in Utah County, you get these mountains that come along the east side. And if you go up north into Davis or Weber County, it's the same thing up here. You have the Wasatch Mountains that run along this east side. So the Great Salt Lake is out here. And the cool thing about this is you can see these mountains from pretty much just about anywhere. If we just come in here, let's see if I can drop this right on the freeway from right here. Oh, that was pretty close. So let's go ahead and jump over here. So like, let's say you're driving down the freeway. I mean, it's a little hard to see with the sound wall here, but you can see the mountains all the way along. So this is the cool thing about living here is you get these types of views from just about anywhere, whether you're on the freeway, whether you're on a city street, it doesn't really matter. I mean, even if we come down, let's just choose this random road right here. Even if we come over here and just place ourselves right here, you can always find these mountains. You always get these amazing views that kind of pop up right here. So obviously, if you go closer to them, they're going to be more prominent. You're going to get some pretty crazy views up here on the east-hand side. If you even come up here, like let's put ourselves over here, on Mill Creek Canyon, this is like just outside of the city limits, right? So you got Mill Creek just down here, and then these are your mountains all the way around. So these are the types of views that you can get here in Utah. Now, if we come back here and actually pull our guy a little bit down this way, we're going to actually see if we can get to a spot where you can get the city views as well. So if we come over here, let's come right up here. So you can't quite see from this particular angle, but if you're, living in one of these houses up here on the hillside, you do get city views looking all over the entire valley. Depending on where you're at, you can look downtown, you could look out to the airport, you could look to the Great Salt Lake, you could even look to the, University of Utah. So that's the cool thing about this. If you want city views, basically anywhere here along the East Bench, you're going to be able to get that. So you've got the foothill area up here, you've got the avenues. If you want more of that downtown lifestyle, you can get that up here. But you've got the foothills, and then you've got Mount Olympus with Olympus Cove right here. Coming down here, you've got Cottonwood Heights, Sandy, and Draper. This kind of wraps around, and anywhere here in this hillside, you can get these amazing views. So if you're down here in Draper, you can get this type of view from here as well. This is actually probably one of my best, my favorite areas. It's a little bit hazy on this picture, so it's hard to see, but this looks like it was maybe shot on a day with some inversion or something. But you've got the mountain views over here to the east side, and then if you're looking out west, you can kind of see through, if you peek through these, through the clouds here, you can see the city view. So it's not the best picture for what I'm trying to describe here, but you get the idea that you can see all the way down into the city from here at this, from here in Draper. So that's kind of the first thing that I want to mention. Hey, before we continue on, I want to tell you about our newsletter. This is something we've been doing for a while now, and I want you to be a part of it. You can find information to sign up for our newsletter down in the description box below. When you sign up, you're going to get a weekly email from us recapping the videos that we released this week, as well as some other news articles that were not quite worthy of an entire video to themselves. And we're also going to include other information about what's going on in Salt Lake, what it's like to work, eat, eat, sleep, live, and play here along the Wasatch Front. So if you want to be a part of that, make sure to go in the description box below, click that link, enter your email, and sign up. Like I said, we're not going to spam you. It's just one email a week to keep you updated on what's happening here in Utah. I'd love to see you be a part of it, and let's get back to the content. Now, the second lifestyle that we're going to talk about here is going to be mountain type living. So there's a few different areas where you can get these mountain views as well as mountain living. Now, this is the cool thing. Again, if you're looking for that view, you can get it from just about anywhere. If you want to come over here to the west side, you can come out here to West Jordan, and let's just put our guy down right here. So again, in this scenario, you're going to be able to look out here to the west hand side and see the Ochre Mountains out here, but then you can also look back east and you can see the mountains out there in the distance from there. So if you want to live in the mountains, there are a number of options for that. Let's go ahead and move our map back like this and spin this around. Sorry, probably making everybody dizzy. So we're going to spin this around, and if you want to live in the mountains, right? Let's say maybe you're really into hiking, or you're really into rock climbing, or maybe it's skiing. You know, it's a big one right now. We're just getting into November, so there's a lot of people who want to go out there and ski. And I know people who will go skiing first thing in the morning, and then they work, you know, kind of a later day. They work from like 11 to 7 o'clock at night, and that's kind of their full work day like that. So they go skiing every single morning from about 8 to 11, and then they come in and they work from the office or work from home and, you know, complete a regular work day, but they still got to go skiing first thing in the morning. So that's pretty cool, a lifestyle for you to have if that's what you're looking for. So some great options on where you can get that is anywhere here in Sandy. Of course, the closer to the east side that you can get, the, you know, shorter that commute will be. So you've got all these options right here. You could also come down here further south if you're more into, you know, let's say climbing or hiking or mountain biking. I would also consider this area right here to be an option. This is Suncrest, which sits up on top of the mountain. It's a little hard to tell from this picture. It's not the best picture, but you can see that you've got this mountain right here, and then there's these two roads that come up right here. So you've got Suncrest Drive, and then you actually have Traverse Ridge over here on this side. So this comes up from Draper, and this one actually comes up from the Highland area. So you come up this road, it kind of winds up, and then you end up here in Suncrest, which is where you can get, you know, true mountain style living, but still only be about 10 minutes, you know, from civilization, if you will, your day-to-day amenities. This is going to be a mostly residential area, but I mean, look at this. You've got valleys, you've got houses all the way around. You can just see mountains all the way through, which is really cool. That makes it a pretty sweet area to live. So if we zoom out here a little bit further and take a look at this, let's go back to talking a little bit about skiing, because I think a lot of people are going to be interested in that type of thing. So right here in Sandy, you're going to have easy access to Little Cottonwood Canyon, which will take you up to Snowbird and Alta. And then you also have Big Cottonwood Canyon over here. It's a little bit longer of a canyon, but it does give you access to Solitude and Brighton. So this is another great option. Anywhere along this East Bench is where I would, you know, probably recommend somebody to live if they're looking at a ski, you know, type of lifestyle. Now you also have the alternative option of going up here into Parley's Canyon. So this is I-80, which comes up through the canyon of, you know, Parley Canyon is what they call it. And you have Summit Park right here at the top. So this is kind of right as you come over the crest of the mountain. You have Summit Park right here. There's a lot of growth going in right here. You can see all this development right here. This is a big commercial spot that's growing. And then you have Summit Park, which is growing as well. You can see these roads in here with, you know, lots kind of scattered throughout that. So there's going to be more growth happening right here. You've got Jeremy Ranch over here, Silver Summit out here, and Kimball Junction right here. So everything between Kimball Junction and Park City down this way, there's a lot of growth here in this area. So you can just see how much space there is for additional houses to go in. Now it is more expensive, so that is something you're gonna have to plan on. But if you really want that true, like, you know, ski in, ski out type of lifestyle, Park City is really hard to beat. You know, you just gotta have the budget for it. For most houses up here, you're looking at $1 million plus. You can find some townhomes that are probably in the 800, 900 range, depending on the market and where you're looking and, you know, the features and amenities. But if you've got the budget, I would definitely consider Park City to be one of the top areas for that skiing lifestyle. Next up, I want to talk about our third distinct style of living, and that's going to be suburban type living. Now, a lot of people are moving here and they're saying, hey, look, Utah has so much to offer. You're a short, you know, couple hours drive from a ton of national parks. You've got skiing within an hour. You've got 10 ski resorts within an hour of the downtown area. And you've got hiking, you've got mountain biking, you've got literally everything you want to do outdoors, all within, 30 to 60 minute drive from wherever you're living. The cool thing about this is you can still get that third style of living, which is suburban type living. So you're going to have all of your different areas that will accommodate this type of living. So you have a bunch of, different suburban type areas. If you don't want that city lifestyle, then obviously you're going to want to stay away from Salt Lake City, and you're going to want to probably come further south. Now, the thing to know about this, I've covered this a lot in other videos. Generally speaking, this northwest area is going to be the, let's say, not so nice area, right? This is going to be the kind of the lower income areas, a little bit older, smaller houses, older homes. That's kind of what you're going to find out here. If you're along the East Bench, you're going to find nicer, newer, bigger homes. And as you move further south, if we come down this map here, as you come down this way, it gets nicer and nicer. And you do get bigger, newer, nicer homes. So, West Jordan's going to be a little bit nicer than West Valley. South Jordan will be a little bit nicer than West Jordan. Harriman and Bluffdale will be about on par with South Jordan, but they will be a little bit newer. So you do have kind of those options. If you're along the East Bench here, there's going to be a lot of houses built in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, but they're going to be really nice, right? They're going to be remodeled, updated. They're going to be great family homes for what a lot of people are looking for. So you can find that suburban type living in any of these areas, and you're only going to be maybe 5 or 10 minutes to most of your daily amenities, right? I mean, anywhere you live, pretty much within the valley, you're going to have access to everything you need. You're going to have Costco, you're going to have Target, you're going to have all of your shops within literally probably 5 or 10 minutes, no matter where you live. So that's a cool thing about this. You can get that suburban type living anywhere in Salt Lake County, and you can also get it all the way up here to Ogden. So you've got all these cities here. If I just zoom in a little bit, all these cities here: Woods Cross, Bountiful, Centerville, Farmington. This comes all the way up. You've got a lot of suburban type living. Same thing down south. If we actually scroll down here, you can see that you're going to get the same thing in Lehigh, Saratoga Springs, Eagle Mountain, and then down on this corridor over here, the Provo-Orem area, you'll get a ton of that suburban style living as well. Next up, I want to talk about our fourth option, which is going to be that city lifestyle. I did briefly mention this. If you want that city lifestyle, you're probably going to want to go to downtown Salt Lake. Now, the interesting thing about downtown Salt Lake is that downtown Salt Lake did not used to be a place where people wanted to live. If you lived downtown like 20 years ago, that was a pretty rare thing. That wasn't something that most people did. Now, of course, there's always been homes there and whatnot, but the number of housing units in the downtown area has more than doubled in just the last 15 years. So it's becoming increasingly a city that people want to live in and also want to enjoy, on the nights and the weekends. Again, if you went back 20 years or so, it was mostly a city where people just worked, right? They lived out in the suburbs, they commuted downtown for work, and then they went back home, to the suburbs. So if you went downtown, 20 years ago on a Saturday, it would be mostly dead. There'd be like not a whole lot going on. It'd be pretty quiet. Even today, it still seems quiet compared to a lot of cities. So you do have the option where you can live right here downtown. Of course, you have Temple Square right here, and you have the Capitol up here. So these kind of sit on the very north end of the city. Those are great reference points if you're coming in from out of town. And then you also have, most of your skyrise buildings and whatnot in this area here. You can see just kind of from the demographics or from the, the overall shot here, what this looks like. Now, if you move a little bit further to the east, you've got the University of Utah right here. So there's going to be a younger population kind of surrounding this area. But if you do come further south over here to Liberty Wells, up here into Yellcrest, and then over here to Sugar House and Foothill, you will get quite a bit of diversity. You're going to have a lot of diversity in this area, not only among, the types of people that are living here, but you're going to get some young families, you're going to get some single people, you're going to get just kind of a mixture of everything here in these areas. So a lot of great options for living if you want that lifestyle. Maybe you don't want to live right in the city, but you want to live close to it. This would be a great option to kind of live here in this area. You could also go, if you want to get outside of that, you could also come here to Provo. Provo does have kind of a smaller downtown. It's not going to have that same feel as what Salt Lake City does, but this is another potential option if that's what you're really looking for. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about, the fifth distinctive style of living here in Salt Lake City. This is one that kind of encompasses basically the whole entire area. No matter where you live in Salt Lake or in northern Utah for that matter, you're going to find family-oriented living. This is the cool thing about living in Utah is that no matter where you go, there's going to be a lot of kids. So if that's kind of your MO, if you have kids yourself, there's going to be a lot of kids. They're going to have a lot of friends. There's going to be a lot of schools all over. There's going to be a lot of options to find family-oriented stuff, whether it's going to the movies, maybe it's going bowling, maybe it's just doing something, for a night out with the kids. That is something that you can achieve basically anywhere. So whether you're out here in Tooele County, out here to the west, anywhere in Salt Lake City, anywhere in Utah County, or even up here in Davis and Weber County, even, Wasatch and Summit County, which covers Park City and whatnot, there's going to be a ton of options for anything family oriented. So that's kind of the last thing I wanted to mention here on this list, is that family oriented lifestyle. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you found some value in it. If you did, make sure to share it with a friend or family member, maybe a spouse who's also interested in this type of content for Salt Lake City. I really appreciate all the support you guys give me. I want to be your trusted real estate resource when it comes to buying or selling real estate here in Utah. So if you're thinking about making that move here, or you already live here and that's on your agenda, over the next couple of months, make sure to reach out to me. Call, text, or email anytime. I love hearing from you guys. Like I said, I've had hundreds of people reach out, from these exact videos, and I cannot wait to hear from you as well. Before you go, make sure to check out those links in the description box below. And with all that said, we'll catch you in the next one.